There we go. Now we have it all. So good. So good, so good, so good. So nice to see you all again. It wasn't that long for those that came to our medicine Buddha Puja we did on Saturday. It was Saturday, wasn't it? Yes, Saturday we did the medicine Buddha, yes. And on Sunday you had Venerable Tendron, right? Very good. So kind, so generous, and so nice that you guys have Venerable Tendron again over there in at Thubten Kunga Ling in Deerfield in Florida. So nice, so good that we can do that. And we're gonna start this year. We're gonna start a new year. Everybody survived last year to this year. Yes, everything changed. Yes, because new year and everything changed. It's the time that we have more people coming to Buddhist centers and more people coming to the gym, more people starting a new exercise and everything. Because we all believe that because the clock changed, the year changed, everything will change. Wow, so nice. We developed that idea that because the clock changed time, then everything will change. Yes, it's a very Buddhist approach. Buddhists understand exactly the same. Without any cause, just the changing of the time, everything changes. Not like this at all in Buddhism, right? The Buddhist path, and that's what we're going to try to talk about this next year because we're going to be an entire year together. You guys are doomed. You guys are gonna receive the end of the year a certificate of patience for being listening to blah 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 from Kalden for 1 year. That is really really what you can apply for. So at the end of the year, you need to remind me to give the certificate of patience because the most patience that we're gonna have to talk about is actually, well, you all know everything. I'm just gonna be here talking a little bit about blah blah blah, but definitely what we're gonna try to talk about is to talk about the mind. Trying to understanding Buddhism, how we actually take care of our own mind. And why we need to talk about our minds? Because we are talking about Buddhist tips for a happy life. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to achieve that happiness in our life, but not any type of happiness. We want a lasting type of happiness, right? So that is very important. That's what we are gonna try to create, a pathway, a roadmap in order to try to develop that lasting happiness. And why we need to talk about the mind? Because in Buddhism, that's where it is. The source, the essence, the cause of our happiness, it's a mental state. That's where it exists. And then for that, we need to understand it, then how it works, what is actually the possibility that we have, why we don't have it right now, why we don't actually achieve that type of happiness. Hmm? Very important that we try to really look into different points of view to try to analyze. Yes, because Buddhism, it's about analysis, it's about logic, it's about reasoning. Huh? So if you want to come and just sit here and then just look to this very pretty face of this monk, then you're doomed. That's not the idea of this class. Actually, the idea is for us to think, to analyze, to discuss, yeah? And most of it to really ask questions, right? To doubt, to like use our rational mind and to really analyze things. Okay? So there's no such thing as blind faith, as just listening to the Buddha, to the Buddhist teachings, or to the monk, and believing that that is going to create the necessary changes for you to achieve that lasting happiness in your life. It's not enough. Okay? As you all know, some of you know me. Is the first time of any of you here? No, I don't think so. I think I know everybody. Who is it? Who's the first time? Our friend over there? Can you raise your hand? My friend. Okay,
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Hello,
What is your name?
John
John,
Barrett.
very nice to meet you. Welcome. Welcome to our classes. So you're gonna start a new kind of like connection with these teachings and connection with these the center and maybe a connection with us. So don't be afraid of the crazy monk. That's the first thing. And second thing, don't believe in anything that the monk says. Yes, very important. So the most important part is why you shouldn't believe in anything I say. You shouldn't believe blindly, but actually analyzing it. That is why it's so important what I'm talking here, because it's through analysis, it's through doubt, it's through questioning. So it's very important, as you all know, especially Bob. Bob knows a lot that I love questions. So that's why Bob always saves me. So please, raise your hands, or just ask a Jack to open the mic or whatever it is, and then people online as well, just to remember, just remember to really stop me if you're not getting, or if you have any questions, so we can have a very special, kind of like I always say that we are co-learning. We are learning together, right? And through analysis, through actually questioning, to actually thinking about, and not just sitting down and receiving something, and just like, okay, these are nice words, these are nice things. Oh yeah, this looks very nice. Because actually listening to Buddhism is a very special sort of teachings, because it talks about our day-to-day life. That's what Buddhism actually talks about. But we shouldn't just thinking that, oh yes, I'm just receiving, and I'm not doing anything with that. That is not going to create the transformation that we are trying to actually achieve. So that is important, that we really try to develop that inquire, yeah, the inquiring mind. Yes, that we try to inquire, to ask, to reflect, to analyze. Does it make sense, John? Yes?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Very good. Here, because Buddhism is almost like a science of the mind. That's what I like to actually put. It's a mind that we're going to try to understand the science, or the kind of like the mechanics of the mind, not of the brain, okay? Only. Is sometimes we're going to talk a little bit about how the brain works, yes, the chemistry of the brain, the kind of like characteristics and qualities of the brain itself, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the mind, yes? But mind here has a connotation, or an idea, or a similarity, or it is equal to consciousness, yes? So that is important for us to establish that equality of the same word that we are using, because consciousness encompasses all of our experiences. Not only our thoughts, not only our rational thinking, but also our feelings, our emotions. Yes? All our sensations, and our kind of like all of the sensory experiences that we have. So all of the things that we experience when we are seeing something, smelling something, tasting something, hearing something, touching something, all of that experiences that we have, they encompass, they are happening, let's say like this, in our consciousness. So to not be saying consciousness, because it's a very difficult word even for me, because I'm not, so we say mind. Yes? So mind and consciousness here has the same kind of like idea. Does it make sense? Yes? Is it clear? Hmm? Okay, good. Because then it is important for us to start understanding, and starting to try to understand a little bit more of what we are actually trying to achieve when we are talking about happiness. Yes? Because when we talk about happiness, as we were saying, in the new year, we all are thinking, oh yes, January, so I want to change. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and this is going to change, and my life is going to change, and I'm going to start exercising, and I'm going to start eating healthy food, and I'm going to stop, how do you call it, watching, binge watching, or something like this is the
Yes.
word.
Binge watching. Yes.
Binge watching, and I'm gonna not spend 8 hours of my time on my phone and my Instagram and whatever. I'm not gonna be kind of like worried about this and that. And then January comes and January goes, and everything's there, continues exactly the same, right? even get worse sometimes. We get even more addicted to some of these things because we really tried, to transform, to change the external circumstances. Oh, yes, I'm gonna not have this. Oh, I'm gonna have that. Oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change my friends, because the problem now is my friends. Oh, I'm gonna change my relationship. Yes, the problem is now my relationship. And we start to literally trying to perfect, transform, eliminate, or add things externally, yes? Even if it is just objects, even if it is people, even if it is experiences, or the job, or whatever. And we are trying to do what? Perfect it, right? That's what we're trying to do. Yeah? Looking for this change outside. So, in the Buddhist logic, that doesn't make any sense, right? Why not? Because, well, happiness in Buddhism, in the Buddhist logic, is not something that we can find, so we cannot look for it outside, yes? But actually, something that we build, something that we actually develop through mental consciousness training, yes? That's how in Buddhism we actually gonna achieve what we are trying to achieve. That happiness, that lasting happiness, that peaceful type of happiness that we are trying to achieve. So it's not something that we're going to be able to achieve by changing the external circumstances, the external people, the external situations. Yes. So that is why it is important that the time we're going to spend here together, huh, is important that we understanding that we are not just coming to the Buddhist center and then, or, being at home or whatever. And that in itself is going to make us feel better. No, 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 no. We are here because we not only want to feel better with ourselves, but we want to transform, we want to develop, we want to build, a mental state that allow us to actually engage with these external circumstances in a much more beneficial way for ourselves and for others. Does it make sense what I'm talking about? Because right now it almost feel that our lives is that we, like um when was it? Maybe 2 days ago. Yes, I was watching a movie, because I have some monk friends visiting me, right now in Brazil. They're very kind. They came to see me. So we were watching a movie, and I was just like watching the movie and having that idea. It was an Indian movie. I like Indian movies. They're very good because they have all the Bollywood dance. Da, 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 da. It's very nice. They're very entertaining. So, you know, so we were watching this Bollywood movie, very, very nice Bollywood movie. And then what happens is that actually, if you think about it, when you are watching it, it's almost like the same that we are watching our lives almost. We are trying to fix things externally because that's what the movie is doing, right? The thing is like we don't like and then we are trying to do that. We are trying to kind of like adjust the people, change the people around us, changing our jobs, changing, that or this or or everything is like the movie. The movie is just trying to kind of like, is we are looking at it and we say, if I see that, then I'm gonna be happy. Oh, this brings me happiness because that brings kind of like, peace because there's a peaceful thing or the music is happy. So that I think we really believing that these things are actually creating, the happiness for ourselves. But, you know, it's like the screen is our own world. Yes? It's full of colors, it's full of things happening, absolutely unpredictable. Yes? And it has different types of things happening, happy things, but also sometimes scary or kind of like, sad things, like movies, sad movies, right? Actually happening to us. But guess what? It's not the screen that can is the goal of the Buddhist logic for us to change. Because as one of the 7th century masters used to say, he said, if we're gonna try to fix the entire world, Guess what? Impossible. Therefore, it would be saying that we can never achieve happiness and we can never achieve, lasting happiness. Because if we would have to fix and, develop or create the world in a certain way so we can be happy, because the happiness that we believe is outside by fixing people, changing things, guess what? We would never ever be able to achieve lasting happiness. And that's totally the opposite of the Buddhist path. The Buddhist path says it is possible to achieve happiness. Why? Because it's a mental state. That is why. So thankfully, Buddhism is looking from a different point of view and not allowing or leaving us to try to fix the entire world in order to be happy. Because that's what we've been trying to do up until now, isn't it? Let's be honest here. Yes? We really look into our lives, that's what we've been trying to do. We've been trying to fix, adjust, create, and I'm gonna use a heavy word here, but it's true. Manipulate. Yes? The external world, people. Yes? In order for us to have what we believe will bring us happiness. So we really need to start checking if that methodology, that way is working. And that's what when the Buddhist logic comes and says, well, I don't know, but actually, if you really see in your life, even when you put all the effort, all the investment, all the energy into change, into accomplish what you think, you're gonna actually bring what is gonna actually bring you happiness, like money, reputation, comfort, people, right? If these would really bring you happiness, then you would be happy all the time, right? You would be with that every time you get what you believe it helps, then you have it and that's gone. Life sorted. Tick. Gone. You don't need to change. You don't need to do anything else. Guess what? Well, we have been changing our source of happiness, our external source of happiness, so many times throughout our lives. Think about it. If you really analyze when you were 5 years old, maybe, the little toy was the source of happiness or the little friend, and then you start to become older and then something else became, and then you start to, you became like a teenager, so then it became something else, now it was like, oh, relationships or kind of like a car or having, like the cool thing, and you know and then you just come, and then constantly in our lives, and then you achieve, the age of Bob being very old, and then you can look back and say, wow, I actually changed so many sources of happiness and I still haven't found it, what I was looking for, isn't it? Because the external objects, they are unreliable as source of happiness. That is a good way of putting it. Hmm? They are completely unreliable. They cannot give us what we want. And guess what? It's the objects, the person, the situation, the job's fault? Is it? It's because we haven't found the perfect one, the perfect person, the perfect job, the perfect car, the perfect iPhone, the perfect whatever? Or it is because of our perception of the situations, our interpretation, the way we completely engage with these situations and these people and these circumstances. Hmm. That's what we really need to start really looking into it. Yeah. the perception that we have when we are experiencing all of these objects and all of these encounters with people, all of this work and all of that, they are like filters. Filtering.
What?
Filter. A filter?
Filter. Okay,
Filter.
yeah, filters.
Filter that actually is creating our perception and creating our experience. And guess what? We are most of the time unaware of these filters. Yes? We believe that the problem lies outside. So we are constantly blaming outside, and we are constantly looking for the responsibility of our happiness, or the responsibility of our anguish, of our of our dissatisfaction outside as well, isn't it? Do you recognize that? Do you? Yes. Not only John, I'm asking all of you because I know that this is a common thing for all of us. You know, if we really start to analyze our daily lives, the reason why we are choosing one thing or the other, the real reason why we are doing most of the things and actions that we are doing, is because we are doing it with that understanding that the responsibility of my happiness lies outside, lies in that chocolate cake, lies in the burrito, you know, lies in that person, lies in the Netflix movie, lies in my job. We believe, we truly believe. Hmm? Or when we are having a bad day, we truly believe that the responsibility for my, anguish, my kind of like dissatisfaction, my anger, my, feeling down, is because of my boss, of my partner, of my, that person that didn't treat me well, that situation that, I didn't get, or I lost money, I lost this, I lost someone kind of like criticized me, isn't it? We believe. So what happens in these situations, we are giving all the power for our own happiness outside. So guess what? As the Buddhist said, if that is the way, then it's impossible for us to achieve happiness. Absolutely impossible. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yes? Do you recognize this? Yes?
Yes.
So that is so important that we start to recognize that this is the um, um, operating system we have going on in ourselves. I look at Jack and I remember that Jack is an IT geek. So he'll understand about operating systems. That's the operating system that we have. Yeah, going on. So that's what is going on with ourselves. We are just completely habituated. Yes? We created a belief that this is where the source of our happiness and the source of our dissatisfaction is, which means outside, in the objects, in the people, in all of that. And therefore, right, I need to change, to eliminate, to change, to get more and more of this, of the external things that I feel and believe it is the source of my happiness, and eliminate and completely kind of like make it disappear the responsibles of my dissatisfaction. So that's our lives on the Buddhist point of view, from the Buddhist point of view. That's how we're living our lives. So we habituate ourselves to that, and we just keep going. Just go. Taka, 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 taka. Continue again and 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 again. So guess what? If it is a habit, that's great. If this is a true, that is just a habit. Why? Because a habit can be changed. And that's what we are trying to do. We want to change that habit of operating in this way. We want to transform the system. Yes? By what? Eliminating the system from our universe, from our minds. That's what we want to do. Completely eliminate. Hmm? So for us to eliminate it, we need to understand how it can actually work. Hmm? Because if it is working in this way and we are starting to realize it doesn't work, then what is the alternative? What is the other option? Because right now it feels safe because it's known, right? Because I know that if things go bad or wrong, at least I have, my comfort zone of things. And I know that they don't bring me happiness, but at least I know that I can hold on to them. Hmm?
Familiar.
Familiar, exactly. They are familiar to us. And this is one of the biggest blockage for transformation and change. Familiarity. Yes? And therefore, that's why the biggest tool for transformation in Buddhism is meditation, which is called familiarizing yourself. Can you understand that? How perfect it is? So actually you realize that actually familiarity is our status quo, our operating system. So there, but the way we are familiarizing or what we are familiarizing ourselves with right now, maybe not so much. Maybe not the best. Because it's not accomplishing our goal, our wish for lasting happiness. Yes? Therefore, what we need to do is to transform it and create and develop, build an operating system that actually works, that actually can help us achieve that type of lasting happiness. Yes? So, what do we do? Oh, we use the same type of familiarization. But instead of familiarizing ourselves with things that cannot bring us what we want, like for example familiarizing ourselves with the idea that happiness is outside and the responsibility of my suffering lies outside in objects, people, situations, objects. I start to familiarize myself with different perceptions, with different filters that I'm going to start using, that therefore, because they are based in a much more positive view, they will achieve my goal of finding less happiness because they are coming from my own mind. They are not dependent on external circumstances. Yes? So here I always find it important that we say circumstances are depending on external conditions, right? It's important for us to differentiate between these two things. Because in Buddhism, we talk a lot about causes and conditions, right? Oh, yes, causes and conditions. Oh, yeah, causes and conditions. But what is the difference between a condition and a cause? Well, we can establish that maybe for us, Western people, and especially Americans, yes, we can say that a car, a nice car, is a condition for comfort. Hmm? It can be a condition for comfort. However, however, it's not necessarily like that because the cause for it to become a source of comfort and therefore a source of pleasure, a source of happiness, the cause of it is the mind. Does it make sense what I just said? How it can be? Well, because we can have, you know, we can have the possibility of a nice car and have it, and even if we have it, we are not happy. How many times this happens to us? That we have so many things that in the moment that we are thinking about getting them, we are believing that they're gonna bring us that happiness. And then we have it, or we use it, or we buy it, or we eat it, or we go to Hawaii, or we do that. And guess what? Our minds are in a bad mood, and therefore, nothing doesn't do the trick. It even happens with chocolate. Yes? That, we all know that chocolate is uh, almost the source of happiness, right? But if the mind is not there, even if the condition for having a nice experience with eating chocolate, because we have the chocolate, if the mind is not in the right place, doesn't do the trick. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yes. Bob, save me. Yes.
Does it happen with burritos?
Unfortunately, yes. We can have a big debate, like a few days debate about how burritos are almost the perfect condition for happiness, but unfortunately, the mind is the main cause for it. So, you know, when you are in a bad mood, when you are kind of like, someone say something and then even the burrito would not do the trick. Yes? I know, sounds astonishing, but it's reality. So that is so important that we start to understand this, right? That we start to check in our daily life how we are constantly, constantly looking for these external solutions. But guess what? They are unreliable, completely unreliable. And then, because we are constantly using our body, speech, and mind, and energy, and effort, and money, and resources in order to acquire, to accomplish, perfect these external things, guess what? We forget to use the time, skills, uh, effort, energy to train the main cause for our own happiness, which is our own mind. Does it make sense? Yes? So, in the next few weeks, months, the next year, what we're going to try to establish, what we're going to try to develop is that understanding in different ways. Buddhism is a very rich philosophy because it has extremely, how can I put it? Um, Complex, but not complex in the sense of difficult, but complex in the sense of thoroughly analyzed methods and extreme um, um, proved, let's say like this, yes, like established and experienced methodologies and methods, yes, and tools that can truly help us accomplish that happiness that we want, right? But for that, as I was saying in the beginning, it's not enough to simply ex- uh, hear these nice words, but not put them into practice. Yes? So, what we just talked about, so important that we really try to check in our minds if this is true. Oh, is it true what Kalden is saying that does I actually, look for happiness? Let me think, when I wake up, what I think I need in order to have a good day. Just think about that. How superstitious we are. Yes? You know how superstitious we are. We're having like, oh, the right coffee, the right raisins in my in my porridge. You know, all of the kind of like wishes and wants in small details. We are becoming so um so neurotic with the source, with how these conditions actually can bring us happiness, that we really are becoming so obsessed with tiny things as sources of happiness. Yes? Maybe just me. I'm the crazy one, so definitely me. Maybe you guys don't have this, but I can see that like, oh no, it needs to be. Oh, it's not anymore the milk is the oat milk is the the other one that rice milk or kind of like a soya milk. It's just like this. We are becoming completely obsessed, right? Believing because we are trying to perfect externally the source of happiness. So that is why these conditions you know even if we kind of like perfect them in the way that we believe that they're going to bring it, yes, without the cause, without a mind that is peaceful, a mind that is loving, that is kind, a mind that is open, a mind that is spacious, a mind that is in so many different ways, the conditions are useless. That is a hard thing to swallow sometimes. Yes, because we've been trying. Yes, that's our life goal. Trying to perfect and to achieve and to develop and to build and to kind of like, and guess what? It doesn't bring the necessary result. So that's why it's important for us to understand that the external conditions, they are not the source of happiness, but the cause of it, it's in here. Yes? Guess what? We're talking about happiness, but also misery, also dissatisfaction, also the big word that is said in Buddhism that I don't like, suffering. Yes? But all of our dissatisfaction, all of our anguish, everything that makes us, whatever way you know how you feel, is the same. The condition, it's not the source of it. But the cause of your experiencing a bad day, you're experiencing a depression, you're experiencing a anxiety, you experience all of this, it's your own mind. So Buddhism, it's a self-responsibility type of philosophy. It's a type of philosophy that will help us stop pointing fingers. Yes? To things, to people, to situations, to places, to experiences that can't, they couldn't, they can't now, and they will never be able to either be the cause for our own happiness or be the cause for our own misery and our own dissatisfaction. Ever. Because it is the perception in our own mind of the situation that creates our own experiences. Hmm? What does it mean? It means that we start to observe our minds, as we were saying, as Bob's question. You know, on a normal day, a burrito will be the source, it will be considered to myself the cause of my happiness, right? But then when I'm in a bad day, it doesn't. So then it's already a red flag. So I can start analyzing if the cause then of the happiness or the dissatisfaction is the burrito. Because the poor burrito didn't change. The poor burrito didn't do anything different, right? What changed? My perception of it, my mind. Yes? So what we need to start paying attention now, and that's what it means to start, using the Buddhist philosophy as a methodology, as a tool to experience or to look for the cause for our own happiness. So we're going to start using it as a way to start checking, yes, if the condition can bring us happiness or if it is actually my own mind. Because when I am with a perception that everything is awful, everything is bad, everything is negative, guess what? All of the conditions externally become like this. Even if I am in the five-star hotel in front of the beach with the love of my life, having the most amazing food, the most amazing burrito, even then having chocolate late chocolate fondue. The other day I discovered that there is something called chocolate fondue. You can have, fondue, fondue. Yes, yes, that you have chocolate like the cheese, but you have chocolate and you melt things inside the chocolate. Like this. Even then, in that moment, we are suffering. We are dissatisfied. We are not complete in peace because of the mind, the perception of the mind. Because the mind is seeing everything as awful, as bad, as negative. Hmm? So, at the same time, you know, if I am kind of like in a more positive mental state, then everything starts to become, oh, nice. Hmm? So then those conditions start to become, in that moment, conditions for pleasure, conditions for happiness, conditions for these things. Yes? But in and by themselves, what they are. Is the burrito an absolute condition for happiness? If it was an absolute condition for happiness, then every time I have the burrito, I should find happiness. Or when I'm in a bad mood and I try to eat the burrito, meh. So is the burrito absolutely cause for my bad mood or um, mm, my dissatisfaction? Because if it
What if it's
was, then it should always stay like this.
what if it's a bad burrito?
Then we cannot compare, in the sense of we are talking about when you go to Casa Maya, down there, John, just below the center, there's a Mexican restaurant called Casa Maya. Yes. I don't make any money out of recommending it, okay? So don't worry about it. So they always make the burrito exactly the same, right? Exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So not is not there, right? That's not the problem. So we are comparing the same burritos, let's say like this. And we can even compare the same burrito in the same moment. No, this happens so much. Then you're eating with someone, and then you're there, ta ta ta, and then someone says something to you like, "Oh, you're gonna eat all that? You're gonna be fat." Wow. Then the burrito, which was a source of your happiness, then you start to feel guilt, bad, self-conscious, isn't it? Same
Yeah.
burrito, same moment, different, same situation, same dinner, and then the burrito changed. Instead of becoming the source of your happiness because you're hungry, it becomes a source of, oh my God, yes, if I eat the burrito, I'm gonna be fat. Oh, then people are gonna like me, blah, 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 blah. I don't want the burrito anymore. Look at this. All coming from here, the mind. And guess what? As I like to say, that response, that reaction to the way I am responding to the burrito, completely no control. Right now, we have very, very, very little control. The moment someone says, you're gonna eat all that, you're gonna be fat, immediately, the comes, or the self-beating. Yes? Spontaneously. No effort. We don't need to even think. Just there. Hmm? Does it make sense what I'm saying? It's spontaneous. Where does it come from, that spontaneous answer, that spontaneous reaction? Habitual tendency, the habit of the mind. Yes? Which habit? Of believing that whatever that person is saying, like, well, me being fat is a negative thing and it is the source of my happiness or the source of my dissatisfaction. What other people think about me is the source of my happiness or is the source of my dissatisfaction. Does it make sense? Yes.
Yes.
Then we start to understand. John, do you have a question? Is that a hand
Yes,
yet?
yes. Is it okay to ask a question?
Absolutely, please.
Sure. Yeah. You said happiness is peace.
Mm-hmm.
And so on that burrito story, if
Mm-hmm.
someone tells me that you're getting fat, you're eating the burrito, and it
Yes.
impacts my peace, I just
Mm-hmm.
ignore that person, what they said to
Yes.
maintain that peace. But
Mm-hmm.
are you defining happiness as the internal peace?
I'm saying that the happiness, the eternal peace is a component of the type of happiness that we are talking about here. Hmm? So, what it means in that sense when we talk about peace is saying that the external conditions, the burrito, or the comment of that person, right? If they are there or if they are not there, if they are saying a comment saying, wow, you look amazing if you eat this burrito, or you look gonna look fat if you eat the burrito, is not gonna change your inner experience, your mental experience of happiness. Does it make sense? Yes?
Yes.
So that's what we are trying to talk about. That very good question, John. It's exactly that. Is what we are trying to say is that we can't fix or we cannot control what people are going to say or do in relation to us, right? We So if we're going to try to do that, to wait for them to be kind to us or nice, or if we're going to try to kind of like have the burrito, always done in the same way or whatever, we are doomed, you know? We're never going to get what we want. So, in this case, what Buddhism is saying, the reason why we have this volatile experience, yes? Can we say volatile?
Yes.
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 These ups and downs, these kind of like, if someone says something, I'm happy, someone says something, I'm sad. If the burrito is there, I'm happy. If the burrito is not there, I'm sad. If like this person likes me or not, then I'm sad. Then if they like me, I'm happy. If my boss compliments me, I'm happy. If my boss criticizes me, I'm sad. All of these is because our minds are believing that these external things are the source of happiness or misery. Nothing to do with our interpretation, our perception of these experiences. So, what Buddhism is saying is that the cause for your peace of mind or this disturbed mind is your mind, is your perception, is the way you analyze that external input in your own mind. And guess what? We give zero attention in our daily lives on that. We uh, uh, consume everything that is appearing to us, everything that is kind of like coming to us, as the pure reality or as it is. What it means by that? That we are consuming the external experiences as being the source of happiness and being the source of our dissatisfaction as reality, as it is. I believe that phone is the source of happiness. I believe that the burrito is the source of happiness, right? I don't check, investigate, analyze. I don't come and say, wait a minute, Sometimes the burrito is the source of my happiness. Sometimes the burrito is not is the source of my misery. Because if I eat 5 burritos, then I'm doomed. So I don't investigate that. I don't investigate my own mind, my own perception of the way I interpret events in my own life. Because I don't analyze, I don't inquire, I don't rationalize about it, I don't ask, I don't really, investigate, then I just believe, keep believing, and keep habituating myself in that belief. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yes?
Yes.
So, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to really pay a little bit more attention and to understand that, oh, wait a minute, I have the power. Hmm? I have. What I need to do is I need to change my internal response, my internal perception. So I don't need a better external conditions. I don't need a nicer car. I don't need a nicer job or a better job. I don't need like a new partner. What I need is to transform, to change, and to eliminate perceptions that don't bring benefit, happiness, you know, good experiences, satisfaction for myself. Does it make
So
sense?
is it bad to get a nicer car?
There's no such thing as bad or good. It depends on the reasoning of you doing it. If you're doing it with the idea that the having the car is the source of your happiness, Buddha is saying, that's one of the things. Very good you asking this question because I was discussing this the other day with my monk friends, and we are talking about the shoulds and shouldn'ts in Buddhism. And I said, there's no such things as I should or I should not. What Buddha said, honestly, he explained how the mind works, and especially he explained that things depend on causes, yes, and then they have results. So, if you have a belief that having a nicer car, you're gonna find happiness in having the nicer car, guess what? Instead of actually having the happiness that you want, what you're going to find the next moment that you break the car, that there is an accident, someone scratches it, that all of this, that your happiness is gone. Yes? Or guess what? You're gonna be bored because they're gonna make a new car more bigger, even the now kind of like I don't know, have a playing, kind of like now I discovered that there's some of these cars that they have even heaters in the seat, that you put a heater or whatever, into for cold places. Yeah, it's just crazy, right? So if we believe, then something else will come, and then that idea will continue, and then we're gonna have to change the car, thinking, believing, and guess what? It goes, it disappears, it disappears, it disappears, right? So what Buddhism is saying is that if you do with this mind, you're not gonna find. But if you just do it because yes, you need a car in order to kind of like be able to help your family because of to have more space for your granddaughters or because of this, different. Yes, is you're not believing is the source of your happiness. Yes, it's just a tool in order to get from A to B in a safe way or in a better way for the more comfortable way for your family, and that's it. Yes, that is the problem. We put too much. We add layers and layers and layers of crazy ideas you know, about what the car can actually do. The car cannot give us lasting happiness, peace, peace of mind. Actually, if you think you have the car, a car only gives you headaches. Because then you need to kind of like, take care, like bring to the revision, the mechanic, then someone scratches it, and then you need to put gas, and then you need to pay insurance, and then you need to do this, and then it's kind of like no, it's just a lot of headaches, actually. So that is the mind in Buddhism that we are trying to develop and train. So we are trying to what? Eliminate or, yeah, decrease and eventually eliminate the mind that believes that having a nicer car is the source of happiness. So we are trying to see by analyzing and saying, but wait a minute, I already bought I don't know how many cars, new cars, and I had to change. And every time I get it, yes, they stay good. And then 1 week later, I'm already bored and I need something new, you know? So the more I start to analyze my own mind and my own experience, I start to see that it's not there. And at the same time, I start to analyze that, oh, wait a minute, I don't need to have a nicer car as believe that this is going to bring me happiness. Why? Because my state of mind that I need to check. And why my state of mind right now is not able to give me happiness is because my state of mind right now is believing that the car is the source of happiness. So I need to eliminate that. Yes? Does it make sense? Hmm? So
Yes.
then it's important that when we, in our daily lives, we kind of like talk a lot about it, you know, um, that idea that the cause of happiness in Buddhism, we talk about it, that the cause of happiness is a peaceful mind. So internal peace is a reliable asset, is a reliable experience, is a reliable um, uh, situation, is something that we can rely on. Which is the opposite of external objects and even external people, external experiences, places, right? Because they don't have the potential to bring this inner, internal peace and happiness, mental peace and happiness. They can't. And one of the biggest reasons why they can't is because we are really believing that they have those components of happiness within themselves, right? But as we just described in, for example, the burrito, if the burrito had the component of happiness as an ingredient of the burrito, every time I eat the burrito, I should be happy because it's a component. And the more I eat the burrito, the happier I would become. And not only this, every single person that eats a burrito should find the same component of happiness in it. Does it happen like that? Maybe even here we can discuss, when you eat burrito, you become happy. Maybe someone doesn't like burrito. I know. You can leave now the room, okay, if you don't like burrito. But it can happen. It happens that some crazy people don't like chocolate. I know, I understand. Very hard, but it's true. So the component of happiness that we believe is in the chocolate, if it was a real component of the chocolate, real in the sense of absolute, real in the sense uh, of ever present, let's say like this, or present in the chocolate in itself, in the chocolate itself, then everybody who would consume that chocolate would need to experience that happiness.
Yes.
It doesn't happen that way. And not because the Buddha said, our own experience. Right? And second, we ourselves don't experience in that way, right? Because after you had an entire tiramisu and then you go and eat a chocolate, you don't actually enjoy it so much, right? It's already like, oh, more sugar, more fat, more, it's not good. So the component of happiness is not in the chocolate. It has never been. It's not now. It will never be. Does it make sense? John, yes.
If I'm talking too much or importing too much, just
John,
tell me.
if you're talking too much, I will let you know, but you're not. You're actually not helping me enough. So you please ask questions.
The story that you just said is years ago. I was at the Walt Disney Hotel
Mm,
in Honolulu,
okay.
and everyone was walking around so unhappy. You could just see it in their faces. You could just feel it. You could feel it from, the themes that they were trying to promote because everyone was getting fleeced by the Walt Disney Corporation. And as a result, even the kids weren't happy. I mean,
Yes.
you could just feel it. And that's what you're talking about is the component.
Yes.
They thought that Disney Corporation was going to create all this happiness for them, and they were stuck underneath the Honolulu air path to the Honolulu airport with an oil refinery right next to them. And it's exactly what you're saying.
Good. I like this experience. I like this example. This is exactly what it is, right? It's exactly how our lives are, But guess what? It's not Disney's fault. It's actually our belief, right? It's our belief because, some people would say, Disney, wow, no way, this is gonna bring me happiness, right? But we believe. We chose, we believed in that. We believe in the sense that really, oh yes, when I have that, when I go to Honolulu Hotel, Disney Resort Hotel, then I'm gonna be happy, right? Is the problem. Is that belief that what we are doing, we are projecting a component into that experience, into that hotel, into that person, into that chocolate, into that burrito that do not exist at all in that way. Because the cause of that experience to be happy or to be dissatisfied or suffering or miserable is my mind. The cause is my mind. The cause is not the place, is not the hotel, is not the chocolate, is nothing. Is my mind. Yes? Does it make sense, John?
Yes.
Yes. Bob, you were going to ask something?
No, I'm good.
No? Okay. I thought you were going to ask. So that is what we need to really start kind of like, understanding. But what happens is that a way that normally we think about it, okay, so what do I need to do? Like our dear friend Jack said, he said, oh, should I not get then a nicer car? So what happens is that we start to think that the way to stop it is stop going to Disney, stop eating chocolate, stop eating burrito, stop, having a relationship, stop having this, stop having that. And guess what? Nothing of that is what Buddhism is talking about. We start to use and like hear a lot about letting go. Oh, we need to let go. Oh, no, we need to kind of like, let it go. We need to detach ourselves, or we need to whatever it is, that we say, no, no, we shouldn't have this. Guess what? Buddhism is saying that this way of thinking, not helpful. And it doesn't do the trick. Why? Because it's not in the object is the problem. The problem is not the object. The problem is not the person. The problem, poor people, poor person, poor object, poor Honolulu hotel, poor Disney, actually is our minds. That's where we need to let it go. Is that we need to give up, yeah, that wrong belief, that wrong perception, that wrong projection. Yes? So for that, how can we let it go? I always love this situation because people say, oh, just let it go. Oh, just this. If I don't know what I'm holding on to, what I am, how can I let it go of my phone if I don't have my phone in my hand? So I need to have my phone in my hand. Yes? So I need to know that I have my phone in my hand, and I need to know that having my phone in my hand doesn't create happiness. So I need to let it go. But not the phone in itself, right? It's not that the problem. It's actually my belief. So, what we need to start looking into our daily lives, and we can start living our daily lives, is looking for our own beliefs. Oh, this I believe that is the source of my happiness. This I believe is the source of my misery. This I believe is the source of my happiness. This I believe is the source of my misery. Start recognizing this. Yes? So we can start then realizing that, oh, I don't need to stop doing this because this is not gonna be the source of my happiness or the source of my misery. Is my mind that I need. Is the perception, is this perception that I need to eliminate. Bob, now you had a question.
Yeah. Can we distinguish between short-term temporary happiness and long-term everlasting happiness? I mean, to Jack's point, or even with eating food, is there an issue with experiencing happiness in the moment as long as you experience it for what it is, knowing that when the burrito's over, it's over, that's reality? But can't you have
Um,
happiness while you're enjoying the burrito? I'm
please
asking, I'm not
do.
saying.
Please
Huh?
do have. But remember, while you are having that happiness, while you're eating the burrito, that it comes from your mind and not from the burrito.
Right, okay. Yes, got it.
Then that is the training,
Got it.
right?
Yes.
You don't stop eating the burrito, right? You eat the burrito and you have that pleasure. Why you have the pleasure right now to eat the burrito? Because you still believe, okay? The reason why you're having the pleasure because you're still having the belief that the pleasure that you're eating is coming from the burrito. Yes? And then with time you start to understand that oh, it's not coming from the burrito, it's my mind that is creating the pleasure. Huh? So then you can eat the burrito and have the pleasure. You can eat the pizza, you can eat the salad, you can eat everything because the pleasure is in your mind. So you can bring that pleasure in your own mind, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whoever you are with, whatever you're eating. Does it make sense?
Yes.
That is the type, to answer our friend John, the type of stability of peace of mind, more than just the peace of mind that we want to have, in our minds. It's also all of these added, let's say, positive experiences that we want to have. We want to have love, compassion, kindness that right now we only feel towards our partners, our family, our this, our that. We want to have all the time with whoever, in whatever situation, and not dependent on external people, external situations, so I can experience in my own mind, the happiness or the incredible feeling of love. The same way that I don't have to believe that the deliciousness or the nice feeling, the nice experience of eating a delicious burrito comes from the burrito. It does not. So I don't need the burrito. Eventually. Right now, I'm gonna still have to. Yeah, it's true. I kind of like, I make fun, but it's true because right now we need to know where we are at, right? And right now, yes, the burrito is still for me the source of happiness. The partner, yes. But what we're trying to do with that is enjoy those things and use them as a source of training the mind. That's what I said about recognizing, of holding what you're actually feeling. Yes? So the moment you recognize that you are the one seeing that the burrito is the source of happiness, yes? Then you can start saying, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I can see that I'm doing this. Now I can start transforming. So next time you eat the burrito, you start to see, oh, wait, it's not the burrito. It's my mind creating that experience. Yes? So you go doing like this, tuck, 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 transforming. And then before eating the burrito, during eating the burrito, and after eating the burrito, the mental state is the same. Is happy all the time. Does it make sense? Yes? That's what we are trying to achieve. Yes, my dear Francine. Then.
Nobody else is asking is, so which burrito from Casamaya is this?
Vegetarian.
Well, I figured that much.
Is the vegetarian one. Is the vegetarian one. Yes. But don't tell anyone because this is the real source of happiness, that one. So don't tell. Okay? So that is the problem, that is the beauty of the Buddhist path for me. Right? It's not saying let it go, stop, kind of like, make your life misery. Actually, use all your life, everything that is happening, as a source of transformation, as a source of understanding your own mind and how it works. And how right now, the way it works not necessarily is helping you. So that's why this course came about. Because that I said Buddhist tips for life. We need to have, like, in our daily life, we need to understand how we can apply Buddhism to everything that we do so we can achieve what we actually want, which is happiness, lasting happiness, right? And this lasting happiness is peaceful because it is independent of external things. Yes? One. And two, not only is independent, but two, it's full of positive mental states like love, compassion, kindness, patience. Can you imagine having all of these incredible situations that when we are kind to others, when we are generous to others, we receive so much, we have so many experiences. Can you imagine stabilizing this all the time? Independent if you are giving or helping others, just all the time. Does it make sense? That is the type of mind that we are trying to achieve in Buddhism. Yes?
Yes.
So for that, we need to train the mind, the consciousness. Yes? That is the idea. That is really the idea. That we start to analyze our minds, analyze how it is. So, I don't think we're going to be able to do this now, but homework. John, this very important homework. Yes? Why homework is so important? Because it's not enough that we come here and listen to this blah 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 for 1.5 hours, 1 hour and 20 minutes, whatever, and then we just go home and just continue doing the same things. So homeworks are kind of like hooks that we try to put in our daily lives so we can try to remember, of what we discuss, remind ourselves. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah. So what we're going to try to do is that in your daily lives, you're going to try to observe what are you, or what is uh, giving you that high type of satisfaction or this high feeling of happiness, or what is in your life that is kind of like bringing you down, bringing you kind of like, a little bit negative or a little bit dissatisfied. And guess what? You're gonna first realize or check these two things, and then you're gonna say, oh, why is this doing? What am I believing that this person, this situation, these things is bringing me happiness? Am I believing in this? You can ask yourself. Don't need to believe on 100%. Just observe and ask yourself, huh, why am I having this experience of high energy and because maybe am I believing that this situation, external situation is going to bring me happiness? And the opposite. Why am I so miserable with this situation? Am I believing that this is coming from this person, from this object, this situation? Yes? This misery, this dissatisfaction? Just checking. Ask yourself. Just having that mental awareness during your day. Wow, best thing. Yeah, because that is what we're gonna familiarize. The more we familiarize ourselves with this, the better it becomes our lives. Easier it becomes. Does it make sense? Is it clear? Homework, Debbie?
Yes.
I do have a question. If something's super gripping, like for me, I have a neighbor that as soon as I'm walking, he wants to get in a conversation, and it just I get very tense inside. I feel like I can't watch my mind. Like, are there certain situations? Those are probably good to do it with, I guess. Like certain
Well,
situations.
um, actually, what we say is that start with the hardest ones,
Oh, okay.
right? Because they are easier to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to see when our minds are so
Yeah.
um, distressed with something sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not easier to apply this way of observing this awareness in the
Yeah.
moment. Yes, but if we put this as a goal when you start to practice, then when the moment comes, it's easier, to kind of like put it. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
But it's like, oh yes, this neighbor, this person, always is only hearing the voice of this person already. Great. Use that as, oh, am I believing that this person is the source of my misery? Oh,
Yeah.
really? But she's not she's definitely not the source of everybody's misery. She's not always making me miserable. She's not, you can kind of like debate with yourself and realize that, oh, maybe this is coming from my own mind. That's what we want to try to achieve. That's the reasoning or the kind of like conclusion we want to try to achieve, right?
Okay.
Oh, maybe this is coming from my own mind.
Yeah, I see how crazy I am. Like I'm looking I want to get my mail, but is this person going to try to get into an hour conversation with me? And just it's dominating like half of my day or something. I can't go outside. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Look at
crazy.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who is creating all of this? The person or you?
Me,
Yes.
me.
Me, 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 me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Good. Very good, Deb. Very, very good. Okay, so clear the homework, John?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Very, very good. So we're gonna stop from here today so you guys can have, you know, um, a bit of a food for thought. We say that? We say that in English?
Yes.
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 As you can see, John, everything's about food with me. So welcome to our class. So that is important, that we just really try to kind of like create and understand in our own minds that. And then what we always do it in the end of these teachings is that we try to, what we call dedication. Dedication means we try to establish, that intention that, okay, if anything that I heard today, anything that I thought, any question that I made, any kind of like thing that if it made me, kind of like created some sort of benefit to myself, may I be able to use it to continue benefiting myself, practicing that benefit, because it's not just once, practicing this, and then may I be able to use these to benefit others. That is the dedication that we try to do. Because then Buddhism means that we are not only thinking about ourselves, we are expanding that benefit for others. Then the more we expand that benefit for others, the better it becomes for us, our own experience, and the better we become, the life of others. And the better our life and the life of others is, the better is the world. The better is the entire universe. Everything becomes better if everybody is happier, if everybody is peaceful, if everybody is more loving, more kind. Yes, that's the reason why we do that dedication. Okay? So you try to use that in your daily lives with whoever you encounter in your lives, everything, you try to do that. Okay? So thank you very, very much. I hope that you guys are excited for these next few months we're going to spend together. We're going to go, establishing these more, going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay? So thank you very, very much. Thank you for coming to the center. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
being
thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
so good to
you.
see you, Cecilia.
Thank you.
So good to see you. And so good to see you, Chrissy. And my dear friend is there. Okay, over there. And a big hug to you. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
See you
See
next
you
week.
next
Have a
week.
great week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.